Hi guys, it's Aiden here. In this video I'm going to give my first impressions of Godfall. The reason I'm doing a first impressions video where normally I would do a written review on the website is simply because I don't feel like I had time to review the game comfortably. I like to play a game, and when a game like this I like to understand the end game fully before I review, because that's an important factor of the games for me, and I assume it's an important factor of games for other people too. So there'll be a written review coming to the site over the next couple of days. It's simply the fact that I only had the code for like 2 days. It's been extremely busy. There's been a lot of work to do and a lot of games to cover right now, and I simply feel like I don't have time to do a proper review of the game, keep you guys properly informed, to understand the issues that I have with the game fully, and to properly describe what I like about the game accurately. So I feel like a review right now would be doing everyone a disservice, from you to me to the developers. But I do want to do a first impressions game because I have enjoyed my time with Godfall and I do want to talk about it. So Godfall is a game developed by Counterplay Games. These are the chaps who made Duelist, which ran from about 2016 to just this year before it closed down, and that was a collection card game. So this is not a collection card game. This is a third-person action game set in a fantasy universe with cool-ass suits of armor and swords. That's nice. I'm not going to lie, I was expecting interesting things from Counterplay Games. I personally got quite addicted to Duelist, much to nobody's surprise when it came out, and I played it a lot. And I was very, very kind of happy with the design of that game. I thought it was really fun and engaging and interesting, and I don't know, it just stood out to me. So I was hoping that there would be something in Godfall that also stood out to me. Here's what it is. Godfall is basically a looter slasher game. So, you know, we've had a lot of looter shooter games. This is looter slasher. You're primarily armed with swords and melee weapons and things of that nature. There's no guns in this game. Where it gets fun is how the loot drives the combat and the combat drives the loot. Because personally, I can't say this will be the same for everybody. I sit in a play style. That's what I tend to do when I'm playing games of this nature. Be it Destiny, Warframe, Borderlands, whatever, I have my things that I like and I use those things. With Godfall, I found myself experimenting a lot with different types of weapons, different valor plates, different abilities, different builds. I just can't stop. I'm using this bug guy right now. I don't know the names of all the valor plates yet, the official names, but I'm using bug guy and a longsword. The longsword has been about my only staple. Most of my builds will involve a longsword and then a secondary type of weapon, just because the longsword can be so good at those quick hits getting in and out. But I have builds where I'm backing up the longsword with a hammer, I'm backing it up with a polearm, I'm going all in on speed, and I'm using a dual daggers backed up by a longsword. There's all different types of augments and things like that you can use in the game. Overall, it can just be a huge amount of fun to experiment with the builds, and you get something new, you want to try it out. That changes the combat in interesting ways because you're using a new weapon that you might not be used to, you're using a new valor plate that you might not be used to. It's a nice little curve that's kind of engaged me more than other games of, like, I don't want to say a similar type, but of a similar nature, where I just want to experiment and build and explore, and heaven help me, I want to theory craft. So well done, Counterplay. The combat itself is quite slick and smooth and very, very interesting. It works from a kind of a rock, paper, scissors positional concept, where you can do your heavy attacks, your light attacks. Enemies can do different types of attacks. Like a glowing red enemy means you can't block that, you need to dodge, or else you can block some attacks, you can parry others, you can get them into disadvantageous positions. There's lots of fun, but the main important thing will always be positioning, which makes it slick and interesting and quick, which I quite like. Now, I don't want to go too deep in on any one particular facet of the game, but I do want to talk about something that people will probably be wondering about. When the recommended and minimum specs for PC were released, there was a lot of talk on the internet, at least that I could see, around them being quite demanding. And here's the truth, the game is quite demanding. It takes a lot to run this thing. I can run this thing on epic settings. I'm running an RTX 3070. I am running a 3700X AMD processor. I am, here's the thing though, playing this game on super wide 3440 by 1440p. Even more interestingly, what you're seeing is not epic settings. What you're seeing is medium, because this game really does look very good. So I wanted to prove that point. This game looks really nice right now. I think it actually looks beautiful right now. And this is the medium settings on the game. So even if you can only run the game on medium, you're still going to get a very nice visual experience. But the game is very tough to run. And in my experience, I was having some issues on the first day with frame rates. Sometimes very bad frame rates, like very, very bad. I'm not going to kind of beat around the bush on that. However, on the second day, some new drivers arrived from Nvidia. They didn't have anything specific to do with Godfall that I know of, but those new drivers fixed everything right up. Everything's been pretty smooth sailing since then, which is very, very nice. Story-wise, the game is interesting, but this is just me. I always find it difficult to truly buy into stories where nobody has a face. Everybody's face is hidden behind armor, or it's made out of metal, or it looks like a light bulb. You know, it's all like high fantasy stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love high fantasy, but I find it difficult to take it serious. So I haven't been overly engaged by the story at any point to date, anyway. So I think that's about everything I want to talk about. I talked about the combat, I talked about the graphics. Yeah, that's just about everything for my first impressions video. I like the game. That's really my overall impression. There's a lot here that's fun. It has a lot to offer. I'm not sure about an end game yet. I know everybody loves those end games. Me too. And I'm not sure about it. I don't know if this will end up being a game where I put in hundreds and hundreds of hours, simply because at the moment I don't know if the content is there to do that, or will be there with future support. There is the tower. The tower is a very interesting thing because you can kind of challenge yourself to go as far as possible up the tower, getting kind of better gear as you go. So that's the current end game from my understanding. Now, as I said, I haven't finished the story yet. I haven't finished the full game yet, but I will get there in time, and this will all be dealt with in the review. But if you've been wondering about Godfall, and if you're asking yourself why Godfall is appearing on the channel, I have a lot of videos already gone live. I have a lot of guides gone live on the website. It's because for me, Godfall is an extremely easy game to cover because it's quite fun and I'm very much enjoying it. I can't guarantee nor promise that you will, but if you've been wondering about it, I think it's worth experimenting with. I'm enjoying the combat. I've enjoyed playing co-op with other people who had keys pre-launch. I think it's a fun game with a considerable amount to offer. At the moment, is it absolutely flawless? No. I mean, what game is? But it's definitely, I think, plowing a nice row in the field of launch titles which are coming our way. So that's it, guys. My first impressions. Any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I will hopefully have a review going live over the next couple of days. So thank you very much for watching.